Alrighty, we have got Brian hanging out with me for our weekly CAIC Avalanche Safety Report. We have got lots to talk about. We were talking a little bit offline about some scenarios that we are expecting with changes in snow and weather. But go ahead, let's start things off. What are some things that we are looking at and looking out for? And kind of, I know you want to talk a little about last weekend as well. So start us off, Brian.
Yeah, it's been a pretty quiet period, and it's been a little bit depressingly dry for those of us who love snow. The upside of the really dry conditions is it has allowed avalanche danger to kind of ease since our last storm event, which seems like it's been quite a ways in the distance now, over a week. But that's all going to change, and so current conditions should not dictate your plans for the holiday weekend. And let me start by just kind of showing a snapshot of where we are in the state right now. And you can see we are running below long-term normal, or where we would be in average conditions. You can see most of the states anywhere from like kind of 65 to 80% of long-term average, and that's due to our recent dry spell, which is maybe a little bit easier to see in this graph. So the green line is where we would sit on an average snowpack year. This is in terms of how much snow water equivalent is sitting on the ground. This black line is our current year, and you can see how it's gotten really flat over about the last week or two because we have not added any new snow. And I threw the red line in here, which was last season, so you could see that we were doing quite a bit better at this point last year than we are now. And so now we finally have another storm on the horizon. It is going to impact us this weekend. It does favor the San Juan Mountains, which could see kind of a widespread foot of new snow. That'll be great. You could see some areas in the central mountains, like along Grand Mesa and the Elk Mountains, and even up along the Front Range and the Park Range north of Steamboat. Could pick up, kind of 4 to 8 inches of snow. This is great news. It will refresh everything. It is also going to lead to an increase in avalanche danger, mainly because this new snow is falling on kind of a worrisome snowpack structure. Sure. And what that looks like is we either have buried weak layers in the upper part of the snowpack, like what you can see here is this like weakness in the upper snowpack, and this is a layer of buried surface hoar. Here's what that looks like a little bit closer, and you can see that's pretty fragile, so it can't handle a ton of new snow on top of it. And not only do we have these weak layers in the upper snowpack, like that surface hoar, but we've got some deeper snowpack area, or deeper weak layers, and this video will show that.
The snowpack has really seen a lot of wind damage up here, so the slabs are really patchy. They're about 20 to 30 feet across. And you either are skiing in totally weak faceted snow, or you're on top of a 2-foot thick pencil plus borderline knife hard slab that is sitting on just very weak faceted snow at the bottom of the snowpack. So we've isolated extended column test. We're going to see if in this transition area where the slab goes from thin to thick, we can actually impact those deeper weak layers.
So that's a good illustration of how those avalanches are going to break. So we both have weak layers of snow in the upper part of the snowpack and at the bottom of the snowpack, and this new snow that's coming this weekend is going to make it more likely for people to trigger avalanches on both of those weak layers. And so we want people to make sure that they get their forecast, because we're going to see more avalanche like this. This was one from the Aspen area from last weekend, where travelers along this ridge line triggered this avalanche from a distance, and you can see this would be a really nasty ride. Those conditions are going to be with us this weekend, and it's only going to be a little bit easier to trigger avalanches, particularly in those areas in the southern mountains that pick up more than about a foot of snow. So please stay aware of obvious signs of instability, like audible collapsing, shooting cracks like the one in this video, and check the forecast at Colorado.gov/avalanche before you head out.
Well, absolutely. Thank you so much, Brian, for jumping in here again this week, making sure that we are staying safe out there in the backcountry. And of course, doing what we love most, skiing and snowboarding, especially going into the, holidays. So thank you so much for letting us know about the storm that's on the way. And of course, keeping us safe out there. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Have great holidays, and we'll see you back here next week.
Absolutely.